Excel just released two brand new import functions, making it way easier to bring data into Excel. So in this video, we'll go over how each function works, how we can combine them with other formulas, and real-world scenarios you can start using today. Let's get into it. Here we are in Excel, and if I type equals import, you'll notice I have the import CSV and the import text functions. Firstly, with the import CSV, you'll notice I have the path part. This is basically where is your CSV file located. So over here, you can see that I'm on the desktop folder. Let's suppose that I want to import this CSV file on some ad campaigns. So I can right click on it and copy the path. So copy as path. Now I can just type import CSV again. And in here, we want to paste the path. Then just close up parenthesis and hit enter, and you'll notice it loads up the entire CSV file for us. You might have noticed, other than just importing the path, there's a few other optional arguments. They're optional because they have these square brackets. The skip rows is maybe we don't want the headers, so I could just put a 1. That means that it's gonna start after the header row. If I hit enter there, you'll notice the headers are no longer available. It is optional, so I can just put another comma to ignore that and go over to the take rows. So this is basically how many rows do you want to see. Maybe we only want something like the top 10, so I'm going to put an 11 there because of the header. Now you can see that I have the header row, and then I've got this other top 10 right below. Then the very last part, this locale, is basically for formatting. For instance, sometimes you might want the month before the day. Things like that you would change with the locale. Once we have the data imported, we can do some smart analysis by wrapping it around an AI function like Copilot. So for instance, here I can put equals Copilot prompt. As the prompt, maybe I can say to group the conversions by campaign type, close those quotations, comma, and leave the context as the entire CSV file. Now we can close that at the very end and hit enter. And you'll notice here it's grouped the 3 different campaigns we have, and it's got the sum of the conversions for each. The more advanced sister function to import CSV is IMPORTTEXT. So let's see what that does next. Over here, I can type equals, look for import text. And this one doesn't just work with CSV files, but it also works with TXT files and TSV. Also, as you might see here, it does have a few more options for further customization. Let's try import a text file to see how this is slightly different. Down over here, you'll notice that I have this warehouse logs. If I open that up, you'll notice that it's separated by the semicolons. So let's see how we're able to work around that. Just gonna right click and copy that path. Now in here, I'm gonna go equals import text. Hit the tab key there. This is the new path. And if I just hit enter there to see what comes up, you'll notice that it's all within one cell. Even the stuff that's in the semicolon is not actually being separated at all. That's why in this one we have this optional argument called the delimiter. So that's basically what do you want to separate your data based on. So here in quotations, I'm just going to put the semicolon. Now if I hit enter, you'll see that everything's been separated into different columns. So it's definitely much easier to read this way. Other than that, we have a lot of the same arguments like skip row, take row, and for the encoding here, this is for the file type encoding like UTF-8. I don't think it's too relevant for now though. One thing to keep in mind about these two functions is that they don't refresh automatically. So for instance, if this original dataset, this text document, gets some new rows added or some numbers edited, it's not going to show here automatically. Instead, what you will need to do is head over to data and press on refresh all. When you do that, all of the data should update. Before we get into the realistic use cases for these functions, if you find learning all of these Excel formulas a bit overwhelming, a good alternative is using EasyMorph, a visual drag and drop tool used by over 700 organizations. For example, I'm here in the EasyMorph app and I've got 3 Excel files that I'd like to merge. All I need to do is drop the files into EasyMorph. It converts them into a merge table, and in this case, we used Excel, but it also works with CSV files, JSON, and much more. You can transform the merged table easily by right-clicking and aggregating, or in this case, cleaning up the names by capitalizing the first letter of each word. Then you can go to Add Action and choose from over 180 different actions. In this case, we can add a running total of the cumulative sales. Once you're done, you can export it or send it directly via email. EasyMorph stores these workflows, meaning you can rerun them anytime on new or updated data. That's just a quick overview of what EasyMorph is capable of, so if you're interested in trying it out, you can get access to their unlimited time free version by clicking the link in the description below. And thanks to EasyMorph for sponsoring this video. Now that we know how to use import CSV and import text, we have a lot of really cool use cases, like for instance, combining these three CSV files. You can see that I have one for January, February, and March, and ideally I want these combined. A really easy way to do that now is with the import CSV function. I basically copied the three file paths in here, so I have them available, but basically they're right here as well on the actual desktop. So all I need to do now is select that first one, and that's basically the same thing as copy pasting that path. That said, you'll notice that within this function, there is no argument to add a second CSV file, right? So we're gonna need to get a bit creative here by adding the VSTACK function in front, which is basically gonna let us stack multiple CSV files. So I'm gonna put VSTACK here in front. Now as the array number 2, we want the second import CSV function, this time for this February path, and finally one more for the March path down below. Close up parenthesis and now close it again, this time for the VStack, and hit enter. Maybe to see this a bit better, I'm just gonna paste it over to the side like this. You'll notice though that it's looking good, but as soon as we get to the February one, we have these headers again, and same thing with the March down below, so that doesn't look great. We can easily remove that though, because remember, inside the import CSV, we have the option to skip rows. So we want to skip the header row only for the February and the March, right? Because the January, we do want to see the headers. So at least we've got some reference. Now I hit enter there and I can keep scrolling down. We're now in March and we don't see that header row anymore. That's not all though. While this specific dataset didn't have that many columns, when you've got one with a lot more columns like this over here, I've imported this other CSV file. You can see it's got a few more columns. What if we only want to see 2 or 3 of them? Well, we can just use the CHOOSECOLS function right in front. As the array, we'll leave this as is, but now we can choose the different column numbers. So 1 would be column B, then 2 would be column C, etc. So I can say I only want to see the platform, so that's 2, and I want to see the spend, so that's going to be a 5. Close that parenthesis and hit enter, and you can see we now have that breakdown. One final use case that's my personal favorite is adding some kind of a mini dashboard with this function. Let me quickly show you. For example, here we have the same ad dataset, and the idea is that we only want to see the ads that are for the past 5 days. And making this dynamic, we want to be able to see it. If we open it tomorrow, then the ads are going to be updated to only see the past 5 days from tomorrow onwards. So for this, we're going to use a few different functions. First, I'm going to type the filter up front. The array is fine as is, but I'm going to copy this whole part as we'll need it just in a second. Now we'll go to the very end, and as the include section in here, we want to use the CHOOSECOLS. The CHOOSECOLS, and we're going to define we only want to include based on the date column. So that's going to be on the first column. I'm going to paste the entire CSV file again in here. And now for the calls, we want to choose only column 1. That's basically the filter criteria. Then towards the very end here, this is where we want to add the criteria to make it equals to today and the past 5 days. So I'm going to do greater than or equals to today. Hit the tab key there, close that parenthesis for now and hit enter. So this is only giving me the transactions of today, but I want today and the previous 5 days. So in here, I'm going to put a -5 as well. And you can see we now have a dashboard of sorts that shows us all of the transactions over the past 5 days. A small final detail we could add here is to sort it. For instance, right now it's sorted just by the date, but maybe we want to sort by however amount we've spent, so the spend in USD. For that, we just need to go back inside of the formula and add the sort function up front. The array is all of this area, comma, the sort key is, well, which column do we want to sort by? Well, it's going to be column number 5, comma, and the sort order, do we want it in ascending or descending order? We'll put descending, close up parenthesis and hit enter. And if this is looking just too overwhelming with so many formulas, you can click on this drop-down area to the right and basically just add the Alt-Enter. And this is a good way to clean it up so you can actually see it a bit better. Maybe I can do another one in here like that. Depending on the person, you might find this a lot easier to read now. I can then collapse that and hit enter. It's gonna give me the same answer, obviously. If you're an advanced Excel user, you might have looked at this function and said, Kenji, you should have used the let function to simplify this a bit further, and you're probably right. So let me know down in the comments if that's something you would like to see next. For now, if you want to simplify your Excel formulas, you should learn how to use the asterisk and the question mark with this video over here, or you can check out all our courses over here. Hit that like and that subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.